Join us for daily motivation, wise women's tips, and more as we collectively gather together and move the needle in our lives, heart, mind, body, and soul. Now, here is your host, Leanne Ely, and the Daily Dish.
And the Daily Dish. Hi! Happy Monday, everybody! I hope you're enjoying, had a good weekend, and everybody is here, refreshed, ready to go get them. It's so good to see Noreen. Noreen has already started us all off here. So is Catherine, and we're glad you're here. So glad you're here. And Sarah, my girl, I have been missing you. I'm so glad to see your face, your avatar, your whatever. Jocelyn, I'm glad you're here. And Helen, this is when everybody comes marching in the door. Are you ready for the bonanza? Hello, Trisha. Carla's here. Helen. Look, this is not our quote of the week, by the way. This is Tony Robbins is our quote of the week. It is in the moment of decision that your destiny is shaped. But my whole concentration, my whole thing lately has been on what I'm going to be sharing today. Joanne, you're going to know exactly what I'm talking about. Same with Jackie. Same with Cheryl. Same with Doris. You all understand this. You all know this. This is not brand new information. But I think it's something that we need to get into, and that is arguing for our limitations. Do I have a little pinkies up on that one? Come on, Brenda, show me your pinkies. Tanya, hello. Seriously, I want you to put your pinkies up on this one because I am, I know, listen, if you've got your Bonanza card, that means that you have participated in the Bonanza last time, and we are all about that. It is Thursday and Friday, by the way. It is Thursday and Friday. This is the whole setup for that. And on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of this week, we have no specials of the week, nothing. Because the Bonanza is where it's at, folks. The Bonanza. Okay? So we're going to wrap this whole series up today. Well, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then the last one on Saturday. Thursday and Friday, we're all about the Bonanza. It's 1 p.m. Eastern and 7 p.m. Eastern, but we're going to be on Crowdcast for that. That's when the fun and games come out. That's when it gets wild and crazy. That's when everybody gets there, and it's really fun. There are deals. Let's just say this is the deals. We've got deals, right? Let me just say, we know what you want. We're going to be bringing them back, some of them back. We have all new deals, but you're going to want to be there every single session, all 4 of them. They're going to have something different. So do check it out, savingdinner.com/bonanza. Brenda, go, you'll find out. Listen, you will be able to sign up for the Crowdcast, but not the Facebook. You know, hello, Facebook. We'll be here regularly on Facebook like we always are. Always. We will be here. I promise you, we will be here just as normal can be. But I'm going to be wearing some bang, 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 you know, my 6-shooter gear. Kimberline says she's going to go make some soup. Go do it and get yourself signed up for the Crowdcast on Thursday and Friday evenings. You're going to want to do that. Gloria's here. So's Alice. So's Lucy. Diane's here too. Yay. And of course, hello, Kimberline. So that's what we're going to be talking about all this week. And it's just a lot, you know, we got a lot going on. Also, our Thanksgiving menus are out, and it's not just menus. It's any way that you want to eat type of a Thanksgiving menu. And there's also some support there with some troubleshooting guides, timelines, everything that you need to go to get it all done. So we've got the classic recipes. Of course, I'm known for this stuff. But we also have some others that we have developed recipes for people who have limitations. You know, come on. Gluten-free is still a thing. Yes, it is. And we have those. We have all of it. Nancy's here. I'm so glad. So savingdinner.com/Thanksgiving. Inner Circle, you can find at savingdinner.com/circle. That's just to get on the wait list, and there's information about that. Also, the Carousel of Crazy books, well, you need that. savingdinner.com/crazy. This is my book, really, about opting out of the diet culture. I'm just so done with all of it. And, you know, lately I have been, I don't know if my eyes seem swollen and my cheeks seem swollen to me. I've been having some sinus stuff lately, which is not my normal. So, yeah, I'm going to be getting into all of Trying to get rid of all of that before next week because it's Thanksgiving and other things are happening. Terry, I'm so glad you're here. And it's nice to have you. And everyone, by the way, we also, social media, we're all over it. Now, TikTok and Instagram and all of that, we don't do as much as we do here, but we're there. You can find us. We're going to be there. Hello, Vanessa. Vanessa loved my makeup tips for women over 60. I did it on TikTok. It was just one of those little ranty moments, and Caroline got it on film, and it was just fun. There was no Q&A last Friday. There will be no Q&A this Friday, but if you wanted into the next Friday, why don't you go ahead and send those questions in to support@savingdinner.com. Question for Leanne on Friday so that we can get you done. Yes. Card Cutter, if you took advantage of the introductory rate, you were smart. Otherwise, go take a look. You might see it at the Bonanza. I'm just saying, but you were smart because the price has gone up. I like that. I love being smart like that, don't you? All right. So shall we get into the content at hand? Here's the thing. Motivational Monday, to me, kind of sets the table, if you will, for what we're going to be discussing all week and gets us into this place of better understanding of where we are. It's like the first time I ever found out about fixed mindsets versus a growth mindset. That was a light bulb moment for me. And I understood the difference and I understood where a lot of my fixed stuff was. But when I understood that having a growth mindset meant I had to do something different than my fixed mindset, then I started to lean more that way, obviously, because those are the kind of things that abruptly go boom right up in your face, right? That's what it is. And Jim Quick, who is a friend of mine, actually, and a real sweetheart, smart guy. I think I shared one of his books that he did, and I thought was just, and I can't remember, of course, it's over there on somewhere in my vast bookcase. But a really well done book, very well done book. And he had one of the quotes that I really liked. It made its way into one of our quote decks. And it's this one: if you argue for your limitations, you get to keep them. But if you argue for your possibilities, you get to create them. Now, today, we're not going to be talking about the possibilities. We're only going to be talking about limitations, because I think sometimes we jump quickly from one thing to the other. And I think if we understand how we get in our own way, really, with our limitations, then maybe that's the time that we can start to maybe bring it down a little bit. This is kind of making me crazy. My shirt isn't, there we go. That's better. I feel wonky. Patsy's in the house. Hello. So let's get into that, because I think if you're, and I know you're a lot like me, because we talk about stuff all the time that is just aha moments and things that make you think, things that make you go, maybe I'm stuck with that. Maybe I'm stuck in that pattern. Maybe I need to fix something here. We see things, and we see it together as a community, which I think is extraordinarily helpful, don't you? I mean, when I know somebody else is struggling with something, it just makes it makes it that much better. So I want to, I just want to get into this place of understanding that as a community and as individual women, we all do this. We all, at some point, have argued for our limitations of some sort. Maybe not all of them, but maybe some of them, or maybe one just pet one. But whether we know it or not, we all do this. And the funny thing is that if we can catch ourselves in a long-winded explanation of why it is that we can't move forward, then we're going to be catching ourselves in the very thing that's causing the problem. And that's the thing that we need to be looking at, because when we hear ourselves saying, yeah, but you don't understand, or, blah, 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 and start going through this whole thing, that's a red flag. And that's something that's a little tap on your shoulder, like, this is for you. You need to be listening up to this. So, and I want to know, I know that we all do this, but why? Why do we do this? Why do we do it when it's plainly You can see it in someone else's life, right? But maybe you can't see it in your own. Guilty, right? It's true. But if we do this, what is it? What is the reason that we do it? Well, I think first and foremost, number one, anyone, it's a defense mechanism. It is a defense mechanism, and it means that that something else is required from us, and maybe we're not all exactly amenable for change. And change means something different. Change means doing something different. Change means having to put something down and pick something up. And you know what? Can we just be honest about that? It's hard. And the other thing is it's a hit to the ego, because it means you're doing something wrong, or you're not doing something thoroughly, or you're missing something out. And that you keep that comes back to you. That comes back to you, and you start to, nobody wants to admit they're wrong. Have you noticed that? I have had, I've been in that kind of a situation, or relationships, friendships, and relationships, and all of that, where admitting that you were wrong, or that you maybe have played into it, or you were a part of the problem, hasn't necessarily been the strong suit. I have found in my life, in my own life, as not fun as it is, there's been times where I've had to admit I was just plain wrong out of it. And when you get to that place, and even get to that place of taking responsibility for the results that you're getting or not getting, then it's a little bit in your face, isn't it? It's a little bit of a oh my gosh kind of a thing. And I believe that's the heart of the why on this whole thing. That especially when it starts to get elaborate and detailed on the why, this isn't working, that we're arguing for our limitations. I believe that's just something that a lot of us do. And we put a ton of energy into it, a ton of energy. We have no time, no money, no babysitter, no fun, no, support. How about that one? How about that one? No know-how, no fill in the blank. I mean, it's because of all of that. Excuse me, I have kind of an itchy nose. I might as well walk around all day saying, don't judge me, don't blame me, please like me. Oh, it is. And it is, you know what? That's a really good one, which I don't have written down here. Excuse me, you guys, I have a little bit of a nose here. It's also a people-pleasing kind of a thing, because if we go along and we just shut up, go along, and everything's cool, even though we know it's not, then it's just one more thing that we don't have to fix. So, but I want to say this, that yeah, maybe it has a little people-pleasing aspect to it. Please like me. I mean, we're just like these desperate little chihuahuas who just like, just give me some attention kind of a thing. I had one of those once a long time ago. But I want to say that I think it's fear and ego. Fear and ego. Fear of the unknown, fear of the change, fear of having to fix or do something different, fear of what would be the thing that we had to do instead of. There's fear there. Fear's scary. Fear is the unknown. And the unknown is a big black dark hole, the abyss, But let me also say this. There's also ego involved. And the ego doesn't like being pointed out that it's wrong. Doesn't. No one does. No one enjoys saying, hey, you know what? I did it wrong. I'm sorry. It's my fault. I messed up. Nobody likes that. Nobody willingly signs up for it. It takes a lot to be able to do that. And I will tell you, because I've done it. I've done it with my children. I've done it with friends. I've done it in relationship. It's never easy, but it's always necessary, because nobody walks this earth perfectly. Nobody does. And in order to have a true relationship with yourself, and with others, then you've got to have this kind of gut-wrenching honesty, as much as you don't want to, right? Because otherwise you're going to argue for your limitations, and you're going to stay in those limitations, and those limitations become a fortress of fear, and they hold you back. And Jackie's right, people-pleasing is exhausting, and so is this, because this is all a part of it. It's exhausting arguing for your limitations. And I'll tell you what, if there's anything that's another thing too, by the way, people pleasing, is a limitation because you are limited by how much you can tap dance and please others. It has nothing to do with what's really truly going on inside of you. And if you are disingenuous to yourself, how can you possibly be engaged in genuine relationships? Think about that. That's a hard truth. But it's a truth that we need to hear, and it's a truth we need to embrace. We cannot go around wearing 15 different masks to fit 15 different audiences and constantly be on stage doing for them. We also can't be hiding behind this fear because we don't know what's next. We're not certain of what it is. And we also can't be hiding behind a bloated ego that's unwilling to admit that they might be wrong. Scary, right? And boy, did I hear, I'm telling you, do you understand when I'm talking about this, I am talking about myself here too. I believe that we have a genuine sisterhood of women who do this. And I believe it's part of our cultural whatever, fill in the blank. We were raised somewhat to be, put on a happy face and make everybody else happy and comfy around us and be good little hospitality hostess and all of that. And I'm not putting that down at all. I'm not. It's lovely to open your home. It's lovely to have people in. It's lovely to be a hostess and all of that. But that is not all there is. It's not all about appearances. It's not all about just sleight of hand and smoke and mirrors. It's about the truth. And the fear and the ego that's involved in this whole thing of our limitations are the biggest factor that hold us back from the life we're supposed to be leading. Because you can't find your purpose in fear. You can't find your purpose in your ego either. And those two things will hold you back from the very vibrant life that you're seeking. I know this for a fact. So, let's talk about the unknown a little bit because it's super scary. And it means if you let go of what you've always known, then you've got to replace it with something else. That's what it means. And what is that? Especially if you don't know what that is, then there's some fear right there. And we also think we fear too that, well, we've always put up with this and put up and shut up. Maybe anyone raise his hand, right? We've put up and shut up for so long, maybe in our families, in our relationships, in our friendships, even that maybe this capacity for change, this capability for change, we really doubt. We don't think it's there. We don't think, we have it. Or we think it's going to require more of us than we have to give at the time. Or we think that's going to be more exhausting than what it is that we have. And then there's your ego. Your ego's going to take a hit. Can I just tell you right now, your ego is going to take a hit. You have to admit it. Even to yourself, you have to admit that something's off, something's not working, something doesn't jive. It's the turkey popper, the popper on the turkey, it's popped right out and you can't put that back. When the turkey's done, it's done. It's time to come out of the oven. And girlfriend, I'm going to tell you what right now, your turkey's done. Mine is too. Isn't it time that we stopped with this garbage, this whole ego thing, this whole fear thing? We learned what fear really is, and we know that we have to, nobody gets a pass in life and gets to not have fear. Nobody. But we can put fear in its place and we can winnow it down into sizable, bite-sized pieces and live with it. And maybe that's not so popular. Maybe we're supposed to be ripping our bodices and have Superwoman come plowing out of us or Wonder Woman come plowing out of our pulsating chests. I don't know. But I say no to that because I think we need to live with our fears and understand what they are because fear happens. It does. And anyone who says that it doesn't and that they've overcome it are lying. Nobody's overcome fear entirely. You might overcome a fear, but I'll tell you what, another one's going to pop up. Something else. I'm just mentioning this as a sidebar that our fears need to live in a container that we put them in and not grow out and grow disproportionately large and take over. We can do that once we acknowledge what it is, when we acknowledge what's going on here. How about this? So, like I said, this whole week, we're going to be going through this. We're going to talk about possibilities a lot more tomorrow because that's Transformational Tip Tuesday. But today I want to identify, maybe you're arguing for your limitations, and maybe you're thinking, oh, am I doing that? Am I not doing that? Well, I've got 6 things, 6 red flags that might say, yeah, you're doing it. So check it out. Number 1, you think everything that I'm saying, or you think all of this is, it's just a bunch of BS. Yeah. No, this limitation stuff, that's BS. This is just how life is. This is an acceptance. This is whatever. I don't want to hear that Pollyanna stuff. Maybe so. Maybe that's number 1. Number 2, or you're going to say it's a bunch of platitudes and happy stuff, put on a happy face. Talk about putting on a happy face. That's what that's what all of this stuff is. Maybe that's what you're thinking. Or how about you're going to say, I get what you're saying, but that's way too much work. Also another red flag. That's number 3. Or number 4, you're going to say, well, maybe it's not that bad. Maybe it's just not such a great big deal. Maybe it's okay. Maybe it's like the 5 stages of growth. You've got denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance going on here. Huh? Sound familiar? The 5 stages of grief? Number 5, you're going to over intellectualize it. This is one of my favorite things to do, by the way. It's a great activity. It's also a colossal waste of time and and takes an incredible amount of emotional capital right out of you, right? And so you over intellectualize it and go, okay, well, so this is what it is. Now, what do I need to do with this? What other information is out there? How much research do I need to put around this so that I can frame it positively? Or you look down your nose at, oh, well, that was me maybe last year, but not this year. I'm over that. This is just pure arrogance is what it is. And I'm guilty, done it. Number 6, this is a sad one, but it's a true one. You think, well, maybe I just don't get it. Or what's the use? Or maybe this is just how it's going to be for me. And it's the sad surrender. It's the acceptance that maybe you shouldn't be giving, right? Your acceptance speech. Or maybe you're looking at me and going, you know what? She doesn't know what she's talking about. Could be that too. But I want you to watch for these 6 signs. Do they pop up in your life? Have you seen them? Have any of these little red flags gone, woo, over here? Wake up, let's smell the coffee. There's signs that maybe you're arguing for your limitations, and the fear is fueling that fire. And maybe your ego's doing its thing too. And if you've got fear and ego working together, that's a formidable foe. 2 formidable foes. But let's recognize that, because which way you go with everything is all going to be based on the choice that you make. And what is a choice? It's a decision. Choices are decisions. And think about how much stronger it is when you say, I have decided, versus I've made a choice. I've made a choice is like talking about, I've decided to wear the blue blouse over the pink one. Where you say, I've made a decision, you've decided to step out in faith and do something different. It's a whole lot stronger, and it's a whole lot more powerful way of speaking. We need to choose our words carefully as we're talking about ourselves, as we're talking about the things that we do. And starting here, that's a place to start with. So what will you decide? And this is a cliffhanger. This is part 1, because part 2 is tomorrow on arguing for your possibilities instead. Tomorrow is when the lights go on and things are a little prettier than the bleak picture I just painted. Promise. Am I going to get you back? That pinky's up if you're coming back tomorrow. So to argue for your limitations or your possibilities, those are the two choices that you have. Excuse me, that's everyone has that deciding factor. Everyone gets to make that kind of a decision. And I'm going to tell you what, When you make a decision that is based on yourself, your ego takes a seat. And so do your fears. They take a seat as well because you've made a decision to make that happen. Listen, I'm going to tell you right now, in this world that we're living, in this convoluted, don't turn on the news, by the way, it'll just depress the heck out of you. But in this world that we're living in this this dichotomy of aggressive hate that's out there, and in the world of just trying to figure out where you fit and what with your family, with your relationships, with your spouse, getting to the root of all of this means that you're going to make a decision based on what it is that you want. To get out of your own way is to understand you've got ego and fear involved that are going to want to hold up your limitations and are going to want to keep you in your place. And you know what? I will say this too, and I haven't had a lot of time to really think about this or whatever, but Sarah brought it up, so I'm going to bring it back up. I think people pleasing is one of our many bags of tricks that we bring out, the people pleasing, because the people pleasing takes up the energy. And it takes up and sucks up the energy in the room so that we don't have to look at possibilities. We're too busy pleasing and making everybody just right. Well, I'm going to tell you what. Tomorrow, we're going to get into the possibilities. And tomorrow, we're going to take it down into fixing the fear part of this and fixing our ego part of this. So we are in the place of acceptance and decision making so that we can do the right thing, so that we can become the women we want to be. Do you know what? Do you want to hear something? And I don't know if anyone's ever told you this. I don't know if I've ever told you this before. Nobody wants you the way you are, especially you. Nobody wants you the way you are. And I mean this, let me back that out and try again. Nobody wants you to be like this. Nobody wants you to be the people pleaser, the person who is hiding behind ego or hiding behind fear, or all three of them. Because that's not who you are. God didn't call you to that. He called you to purpose and for purpose. To live on purpose and for purpose. And if you're living on purpose and for purpose, fear can't be in the way. Your ego can't be in the way. And this whole charade of people pleasing in order to make everybody happy, how long is that going to last? Not very long at all. And that's why I'm going to say to you again, you need to stop arguing for your limitations and to start arguing for your possibilities. Tomorrow we're going to get into that because I'm going to tell you what, this is fun stuff because it's going to open the door to what is actually possible in your life. The limitations that you've been arguing for, they're not worth your time. And I want you to start big picture analysis. And if you think that this has been a part of what you've been doing, I want you to start writing about this in your journal. Start thinking about this, especially the fear and the ego aspect of it. This is the stuff that gets up in our craw. This is the stuff that we don't want to look at. But I'm going to tell you what, when you start clearing the decks of these things and we start making room for possibility, that's when possibility takes over. For everything. Not just one thing, for all. And I want to see you have the best and the most vibrant life that you can possibly have. And this is where it all starts. When you start arguing for your possibilities. Let's talk about it tomorrow, shall we? I'm excited. Fear gets you? Not if we don't want it to, Jackie. I want you to be here tomorrow. All right? Peace be with you. Love you guys. Bye.
Thanks for watching. Check back for new episodes. If you missed the live show, you can always watch the replay. You can find Saving Dinner on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Until next time, pinkies up.